Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone.
Good
I hope
afternoon.
you're enjoying your day. I'm going to be talking today about the sad clown and beating the sad clown and why sad clown syndrome is a problem and men's typical way of coping with the sad clown. And then lastly, just talking about winning and taking back control from the sad clown. So last week, the Italian-American mafia TV crime series, The Sopranos, which showed early in the early 2000s, was in the news. Unfortunately, one of the main actors, Tony Sirico, had died, aged 79. But Tony isn't the focus of my talk. The focus is on his partner in crime, James Gandolfini Jr., who passed back in 2013. So James was an actor who played the main larger-than-life character Tony. And in season 4, there's an intense scene where Tony, in coming to terms with reality, he's talking with his psychologist, Dr. Melfi, and he's begging for more Prozac to calm his anxiety. He's in tears. He's describing himself as the sad clown, and with F-bombs dropping all over the place, tears streaming down, he says, still, I got to be the sad clown for my friends, for my family, putting on a brave front, laughing on the outside, crying on the inside. So Tony feigns success at self-renewal by pretending to know himself better. But he's still trapped in many ways by negative influences and experiences from his childhood, which make him turn up in a certain way. And also by his nostalgia for the good old days of the past. So how often are guys heard of talking the good old days, whether it be of days back at university, days in the forces, or even being part of a sports team? In a weird way, Tony becomes energized, paradoxically, by his own inauthenticity and negativity. He learns to revel in his own resentment, self-loathing, and life negation. Make no mistakes, ladies and gentlemen, this is not just about James Gandolfini in a movie in 2013 or the early 2000s. This is about men today worldwide, in Burpham, in Guildford, in the UK, everywhere. And I'll put myself in that category as well, and many other guys too. Particularly in the third quarter of men's lives. So the first quarter is 0 to 20, second quarter 20 to 40, third quarter 40 to 60, fourth quarter 60 to 80. That's 80 being typical life expectancy. And in any game, whether it be rugby, cricket, football, the third quarter is where it all happens. It's where the rubber hits the road. And it's typically, for guys, it's when the authority figure in their lives becomes no longer. So many guys, it's their father, who, although they may not see each other every day, every week, every month, there is a level of accountability in one's own decisions and actions based on whether it would make your dad proud. And so in that third quarter, that accountability, you start to have to stand on your own 2 feet and make decisions. And guys who are married, their kids start to become more active, need more prioritization, need taken to sports practices, and basically guys in relationships get pushed down the pecking order and become number 4 or 5 rather than number 2. And in addition to that, in that third quarter is when life typically starts to shake. Illness happens, diagnoses come about, bodies change, and that's not just in guys, it might be in a guy's partner as well, which starts to cause life to shake. And it also might be in little kiddos. Unfortunate things happen. So guys start to feel pangs of emptiness, that something's missing. Guys may have crafted their identity based on certain things, certain material things, a job, a status in a community, a wealth that can get taken away. And when it does get taken away, it causes problems. If a man has a lot of money, he might think he can solve that emptiness by buying a nice, new, fast car, or a power bike, or he might decide he needs another woman. For whatever reason, he's deeply unhappy and looking for external ways to self-medicate the problem. We see it all over. We often refer to it as, oh, Jimmy's having a midlife crisis, or Bob's having a midlife crisis. Basically, misprioritization happens, neglect of key people in their lives for whatever reason happens, divorce happens, men turn to addiction, job redundancy might happen, and the midlife crisis happens. It might be less dramatic than what I've just described, but the stiff upper lip means men bottle up how they really feel and just push on, and that causes problems. And the problem typically manifests itself in three ways. The first way is that men lose confidence and withdraw. They withdraw from friendships. The quality and quantity of their friendships diminishes, loneliness kicks in, and then when suddenly life starts to shake, as I mentioned, men, just like other human beings, need people who care around them. And when they do realize and look around, they realize that they actually don't have any really good friends who they can count on anymore. So a survey published in July 2021 by the Survey Center on American Life found that over the past 3 decades, the number of close friends that we all have has fallen hugely. This friendship recession has been particularly bad for men. The percentage of men with at least 6 close friends has fallen from 55% to 27%. And the study also found that the percentage of men without any close friends jumped from 3% to 15%, so a 5-fold increase. This isn't just an American problem. A YouGov study in 2019 found that 30%, so 1 in 3, of UK men don't have a best friend, and 25%, so 1 in 5 guys, have no close friends. The study concluded that men are generally less interested in making new friends. And if you aren't making new friends and people are moving away, migrating, passing away, particularly in that third quarter, the net effect is you are losing your number of friends. So when life starts to shake, men look around, they realize there ain't many or any friends left. There was an article in the Sunday Times 2 weeks ago about this very issue, and we call this the sifter. Think of a sieve, think of it as being full of sand. Life starts to shake, sand falls through. What happens? There's no sand left in the sieve. There are no large particle friendships left behind for when life starts to shake. So that is the first symptom that happens when the sad clown is prevalent. The second thing is men start to yo-yo, 40 pounds on, 40 pounds off, 40 pounds on, 40 pounds off. They stop looking after themselves because they start to get consumed by whatever's happening in their lives. There is a loss of self-control, and unfortunately that starts to define who they are. This lack of self-control, it's often diet, it can be alcohol, it can be other things as well. Poor food choices and lack of exercise mean that men pile on weight. And in a nutshell, the inconsistent physical fitness resulting in yo-yoing 40 on, 40 off, we call it the Pogo 40. So we have the sifter and we have Pogo 40. And then the last one is you may or may not have watched the film Jack Reacher with Tom Cruise, where Tom Cruise is a badass guy and he becomes a drifter, He loses his willingness to fight for family, friends, and community, and he basically disengages and goes off missing, doing his own thing, just being a complete drifter. And this is the lack of purpose that men can start to feel when the sad clown is really prevalent, and we call this the reacher. So the three symptoms of the sad clown and sad clown syndrome is the sifter, the reacher, and pogo 40. And there are 50,000 guys from F3 who are in themselves a reference point, or they basically validate that this is real. And you can speak to any of the guys, the F3 guys, we have a stand over there, and come and talk about our experiences, and you'll soon realize, and I'm sure you'll be able to draw some parallels with maybe not yourself, but with maybe another guy who you might know. So in F3 we contend that all men face a constant ongoing battle to beat the sad clown that exists in each of us. Circumstances change and life is dynamic, so every day is a battle against the sad clown. Some of you may have heard the Latin saying esse quam videri, which means to be rather than to seem. So it's a cornerstone quote in F3, and it's pertinent for us because when you seem, it's how you feel. It's not necessarily how it actually is. And how you feel, particularly in this fickle world, changes from hour to hour, day to day, depending on life's events and circumstances. Seeming allows you to be ruled by emotional surges, and that result from lack of preparedness for both expected and unexpected life events. The flip side, being, is a desired state of resilience and fortitude that counters what life throws our way, stopping us from being bumped left and right by whatever's in front of us. As we say, life is dynamic, things happen, and we don't always see it. And so it requires commitment and discipline. It's like a muscle. It isn't innately strong. It requires practice and flexing to build capability. So it really is about building habits, the right habits, so that when faced with a choice, it doesn't take quite as much willpower to have the right action. If you're trying to eat well and you walk past, a bowl of pastries, and you know that you shouldn't have that, if that muscle of self-control is well exercised, that's not a problem. If it is not, it will be a problem, and you'll probably eat more than you really wanted to and then regret it afterwards. So good routines and habits need to be built to eliminate the need for discretion or choice, because routines and habits increase the right actions with decreasing amounts of thought and willpower needed. So that's what we do in F3. It's really about embedding the right routines and habits in our daily rhythms so that we don't need to utilize quite as much power to make the right choices. So we aren't held captive by discretion or choice. We talked about relationships. There's a saying in F3 that a man might believe he's unhappy because of his wife and job, when actually he's just an unhappy man with a wife and a job. F3 helps men to helps fill the hole in men's lives caused by the midlife crisis and a loss of purpose. It breaks the vicious cycle of blaming everything around us, the circumstances. Oh, it's because of my job, or it's because of my wife, or it's because of my kids, it's because of my health. That's not to say that challenges in those areas don't pop up, but you are more prepared to deal with them when they do. So what exactly is F3? F3 is a leadership organization that started in 2011 in North Carolina. to solve the problem of the sad clown. It has a simple constitution comprising a mission, 5 core principles, and a credo. The mission is to plant, serve, and grow small workout groups for men for the invigoration of male community leadership. So think about leadership in the workplace. What is leadership in the workplace? What traits do you think of when you think of a good leader in the workplace? It won't take long to get a good few descriptions of actions, behaviors of a good leader in the workplace. The problem is that many guys, they expend all of their leadership capability whilst they're at work, and then when they get home after work, they switch off. They disengage because, I don't know, the wife has got the schedule and the wife just tells me what to do and I'm not engaged, and I just palm off the kids to the PlayStation and that's fine. So we really are about leadership outside of the workplace, in the community. And the credo of what we're about is leave no man behind, leave no man where you found him. And that's not just in the workouts that we do. We cater for men of all and any fitness level. All of us carry different injuries, constraints, and so our workouts are all very much you versus you. And we have 5 core principles. It's always free. No man should ever have to pay to work out. It's open to all men aged 18 and over. Any man is welcome. It's always outdoors, so it's great working out at 5:30 in the morning on a day like this. It's a little bit harder at 5:30 in the morning on the 15th of January, but when you've been a few times and you have a group of friends who know have got your back and are really supportive, you actually, in a really weird way, go out and really look forward to it. And there's about 100 guys around Surrey who are doing that, some of whom are here. And it's peer-led. So once you've been coming for a certain amount of time, you know how the workouts work, you know how to move guys around in an efficient and effective way, and you've reached a certain level of fitness yourself. You join the rota, and when it's your turn to lead, you design a workout and you lead a workout, which for many people, and many guys amongst that 100, have never either stepped foot in a gym or led a group of guys, but yet they are now leading men's workout groups, which is amazing in terms of actually self-belief for those individuals that actually they can lead men. And there are lots of guys who have had that realization, and it's been a game changer for them. And lastly, the 5th one is it always ends in a circle of trust. So we have cafeteria, we bring coffee after each workout, and people can stay behind and have a cup of coffee. We encourage it, and sometimes it's just a joke and a laugh. Other times someone has really got something on their chest and there's someone who they can confide in and have a little chat, and problem shared is a problem halved. So the 3 F's of F3 are fitness, fellowship, and faith. And I'll just explain how each of the interplay of those 3 and how they help to beat the sad clown. So off the bat, faith. Don't look so scared. Look so scared. So off the bat, let me debunk the myth of faith. So in F3, the 3rd F, faith, is not a religious faith. It's simply a belief in something bigger and outside of oneself. Call it community, the greater good. Probably the best word is just service. It might be towards one person or many, but men don't turn outward to serve other people until they themselves have got themselves right. Because you can't serve other people until you yourself are taken care of. It's a bit like the oxygen mask in an airplane. You get asked to put your own oxygen mask on first before you're asked to help other people, because otherwise you will not survive whilst you're helping the other person. So, and secondly, we're just innately selfish beings. So It's only when we've gotten ourselves right, we've become fit and friended, that mindset shift of service happens. So faith is the third F, but it really is the outcome of the other two F's. So the first F is fitness. It's what we feel most tangibly. Suddenly you need an extra belt buckle, or you go to the shop and you put on a pair of jeans and realize that the old pair doesn't quite fit. You need a bigger pair. And we all feel it. How many people here have made a New Year's resolution about eating better, or being healthier, or fitter, or losing a few pounds? It's what we feel most tangibly. And so what we do is we get together early in the morning, multiple times a week, at a time when guys feel least guilty about peeling away from the family, from the wife, who herself might have anxiety issues, might be struggling with 3 kids, or whatever's going on in her world. And actually it's more common than you might realize, but guys can get away early in the morning to the workout. As I mentioned, it's you versus you. Guys come, do what they can. The main thing is that they've gotten out. How much time do I have? Sure. And then fellowship. Fellowship is the adversity of the workouts in the mornings. Really, you start to build friendships, and they're genuine friendships. They're friendships that have happened naturally from a workout. So that's really what fellowship is. So hopefully I've given you a little bit of an idea on what F3 is, what the sad clown is, why the sad clown is a problem, and how we in F3 beat the sad clown, and in doing so serve. We basically picking up other men to be better for their families, workplaces and communities. So if anyone has any questions, I'm very happy to take any of them.